allocating time out of your schedule to attend this luncheon. My name is Lamont Lockridge, and I will serve as your Master of Ceremony. The Unity Luncheon is a tradition that has been around since 1996, where we honor our unsung heroes within the Middle Tennessee community. The honorees must meet a certain criteria and have resided in the Middle Tennessee area for 25 years or more. They must have outstanding contributions to their community. And today we celebrate the contributions of 6 unsung heroes whose efforts have helped to empower the most vulnerable among us and brought hope and much needed help to those within the community. Their achievements gives me great confidence in our ability to build a fairer, more just, and more social society. Their efforts have greatly enhanced our community, and I'm grateful for the chance to salute the remarkable contributions made by each of today's honorees. To begin today's luncheon, we will now have greetings from the president of MTSU, Dr. Signe McPhee. Please join me in welcoming Dr. McPhee to the stage.
It's still morning. Good morning. It's always a pleasure to welcome you to our beautiful campus, and particularly this event. It is an opportunity for our university to show its appreciation to those individuals who typically do not get the attention. You don't get to see them on the front page of the newspaper, and you don't get to see them on television, but they are making a significant difference in the lives of members of this community. So it gives me great pleasure on behalf of the First Lady, Liz McPhee. Liz, would you stand so we could recognize you? Thank you. And our 22,000 students, our 3,000 employees, and worldwide, ladies and gentlemen, 186,000 alumni. On behalf of all of those individuals, I want to welcome you to MTSU. You know, today, in the environment we live, the word unity really needs to resonate around the world. It means standing together, pursuing the same goals, regardless of your race, ethnicity, or any of your background, that we have one common goal, and that is to make this world a better place. And I want to congratulate these 6 honorees. You deserve it. And we are so pleased that MTSU is the institution, and it is on the campus of Middle Tennessee State University in which we are recognizing your service to others. Congratulations again. Have a wonderful program. Thank you.
MTSU is committed to developing and nurturing a community devoted to learning, growth, and service. Each person who joins or affiliates with the community does so freely and accepts our practices, our core values, and expectations. In order to emphasize our core values, we recite our True Blue Pledge. The pledge, which begins with the simple phrase, "I am True Blue," underscores MTSU's core values of honesty, integrity, respect for diversity, engagement in the community, and committing to reason, not violence. At this time, could you please join Ms. Delaney McDonald in reciting the True Blue Pledge?
It's such an honor to be here today, so if you'll all just stand with me, and on the back of your program, we have the True Blue Pledge, and then we'll just recite it together. I am True Blue. As a member of this diverse community, I am a valuable contributor to its progress and success. I am engaged in the life of this community. I am a recipient and a giver. I am a listener and a speaker. I am honest in word and deed. I am committed to reason, not violence. I am a learner now and forever. I am a Blue Raider, true blue. Thank you.
Please welcome Ashley and her ensemble.
Them that's God shall get, them that's not shall lose. So the Bible says, and it still is news. Mama may have, Papa may have, but God bless the child that's got his own, that's got his own. Yes, the strong gets more while the weak ones fade. Empty pockets don't ever make the grave. Mama may have, and Papa may have, but God bless the child that's got his own, that's got his own. Money, you got lots of friends crowding around your door, but when you're gone and spending ends, they don't come around much anymore. Rich relations give crust of bread and such. You can help yourself, but don't take too much. Mama may have, and Papa may have, but God bless the child that's got his own, that's got his own. such. You can help yourself, but don't take too much. Mama may have, and Papa may have, but God bless the child that's got his own. That's got his own. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashley, for that magnificent performance. I would now like to invite to the stage Mr. Daniel Green, who serves as the Director of Intercultural and Diversity Affairs here at MTSU. He will be introducing our keynote speaker for this afternoon. Please give him a round of applause.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming to the 24th Annual Unity Luncheon. Unfortunately, the keynote speaker listed in the program, Unica Smith-Bartley from Asurion, was unable to attend today. But fortunately, we have another outstanding speaker that is here today, and I'm sure many of you may know him. Before I introduce him, a representative from Asurion, Ms. Melinda Noblet, would like to share a few remarks on behalf of Unica. So please welcome Melinda to the stage.
Good morning. Still morning, right? Afternoon. I'm Melinda Hudgens-Noblet with Asurion, where I lead our diversity recruiting programs. Unfortunately, as Daniel mentioned, Nikki Smith-Bartley fell ill this morning and won't be able to be here. While I won't do her presentation justice, I am true blue and would like to share a bit about Asurion. If you ask us, technology is pretty amazing. Every day, it transforms what we can do and simplifies how we do it. Technology is also present everywhere. I'm reading my remarks from my phone right now. With locations all over the globe, our 19,000 employees are expertly equipped to help our customers stay connected and protected. But at our core, we are all about our people. Our commitment to diversity and inclusion is what sets us apart from other employers. We embrace the uniqueness of our employees, and we recognize their unique backgrounds, perspectives, and experiences are what moves our organization forward. We've been named a 2019 Diversity Inc. Noteworthy Company in recognition of our rising national leadership of fostering a diverse and inclusive workplace culture. And for the second consecutive year, we received a perfect score of 100 on the 2019 Corporate Equality Index, administered by the Human Rights Campaign Foundation. Our employees have voted us a Tennessean Top Workplace for the past 5 years in a row, and we have been certified as a great place to work for the past 3 years. We're proud to work with MTSU through the Corporate Engagement Program, and we're excited to support events like this that align with our core values as an organization. We as a company value our own unsung heroes, our employees, and their contributions to helping others every day. As an alumna of MTSU, it makes me incredibly proud to be here today representing Asurion. Congratulations to each and every honoree. I'm so grateful to celebrate you and your stories. And thank you, Pastor McCarroll, for stepping in and providing a keynote address in Nikki's absence. You are a pillar of leadership in this community, and we are all excited to hear you share your vision of unity. Thanks.
And now I'd like to introduce to you our keynote speaker for this afternoon, Reverend James McCarroll Jr. Reverend McCarroll is currently the pastor of First Baptist Church in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. He was born the second child of James Sr. and Patricia McCarroll in Nashville, Tennessee. In August of 1999, he received his Bachelor's of Business Administration degree with a concentration in accounting. In May of 2003, he received his graduate degree from Colgate Rochester Crozer Divinity School with the Master of Divinity degree. His fraternal affiliations with Phi Beta Lambda Business Fraternity, Capitol Hill Lodge 251 of Free and Accepted Masons, Prince Hall affiliated, and the Alpha Phi Alpha Incorporated Omnicron Sigma Lambda chapter. He also had access to serve on several boards and committees in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Pastor McCarroll has been blessed to teach and preach at numerous venues across the country, as well as internationally in Italy, India, Jamaica, the Virgin Islands, and Barbados. His desire for people to experience the full Christian possibility has caused him to approach ministry with sensitivity toward the holistic need for the faith, hope, and love required to inherit the power and promises of God. Would y'all join me in welcoming Reverend James McCarroll Jr. to the stage?
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. To President Sidney McPhee and his beautiful wife, Liz McPhee, we thank you for hosting this event, as we do every year. To Mr. Daniel Green, who oversees the Intercultural and Diversity Affairs program here, to Lamont Lockridge, our Master of Ceremony, and then to our honorees, our 6 honorees of the day. Can we give them a hand for their work in this community? And last but not least, to my dear friend Chris Lilly, who about 2 hours ago called me on my way home from Cracker Barrel and said, I need a favor. And so he explained what he needed. And because I'm a Christian and we don't use certain words, I responded in love and said, absolutely. And so they told me I had a Baptist 15 minutes. So I'll give it my best shot. I want to talk today from this thought, the call to come unity. The call to come unity. Henry Ford said on one occasion, coming together is a beginning. Keeping together is progress. But working together is success. For years as a child, I heard the song sang numerous times, we shall overcome. And it was almost as if it was just part of our ritual. Every Martin Luther King birthday, we would march from Bethel AME Church in Nashville, Tennessee, to Gentry Center at Tennessee State University, singing the song, We Shall Overcome. But in reflection of how we did that, I began to wonder if we really believed it or if we were just reciting it out of ritual. I've learned that lyrics without strategies usually become lullabies. And what happens is we drift into a perpetual racial complacency, almost stuck in a holding pattern of a day far gone. And we spend today remembering and reliving yesterday. So how does this happen? How do we get to a place of simple community versus being in a place of community? I want to talk about this today, if you'd give me a Baptist 11 minutes. I want to talk about the stages that it takes to move from simple community to a space of practicing community. It begins with stage 1, which is the stage of what I call the source. It's where we begin to realize that our current concepts come from a founding culture. You see, my brothers and sisters, inevitably, we're all initially shaped by the culture that surrounds us. In essence, we get this and it's received through involuntary transmission. So we're taught the norms and the mores based upon the accepted principles of those that are in our initial context. So whatever your family believes, they encourage you to believe. And in those cases, we don't have a choice as we're involuntarily subjected to their beliefs, their perceived truths, and their ethical frameworks. So in essence, in that stage, our beliefs reflect the implanted subcultural philosophies that have been perpetuated and or communicated as a divine and eternal truth of a certain person or a certain ethnicity or a certain culture. And so we all begin there. It begins with where we're raised. But it moves from source to sickness, which is stage 2. This is where we have an adopted belief system. So at some point in each of our journeys, we have the opportunity to experience a variation of opinions, and then we opt to either sustain what we've been taught or endorse what's been revealed. When we choose to sustain what we've already been taught, then we end up perpetuating the divisiveness of the present context. So what happens is it's driven by a dominant group that cares more about a group's social position than the greater human condition. And so what ends up happening is we choose to keep believing what we were taught. This, in other words, reflects our voluntary submission. So what we do is we make our pre-existing beliefs the ground for our own beliefs and then allow them to shape the lens through which we see our worlds. So the way mama saw it, we choose to see it. The way granddaddy saw it, we choose to see it. Now the challenge with this system, where we pick up or piggyback a system given to us, is that the passion of the people involved in a racially divided community will usually be fueled by the position that they occupy in the system. So what this means is if you're in a dominant position, then you end up suppressing those others, and it manifests itself in things like public policy or unjust judicial systems or right-wing groups like the League of the South or the Ku Klux Klan. Or if you're in the position of lesser power, then you end up finding yourself uprising against these oppressive forces by creating things like the nationalist movements like Marcus Garvey's United Negro Improvement Association, or civil rights movement like the Freedom Riders or the Southern Christian Leadership Association, Leadership Conference. So what happens in the stage of sickness is it usually yields elements that show progress, but never true solutions of equality. So those in power will pass an amendment or pass a law, but never truly concede at a level required for equality. So they'll give you a hologram of equality, but never the substance of it. You can clap, it's fine. I'm a preacher, we like that, amen. So what ends up happening in that stage, if we get stuck in a space where we're perpetuating the sickness, is we have simple redundancy wearing a revised mask. So with believing the same thing, we just put a new face on it and a new title on it to make us think that it's something else. Now, if we're ever going to graduate beyond that phase, the third phase or third stage is that of solution. This is when we adopt the hope of a new reality. Paul reminds us in Philippians chapter 2 that if we're going to have unity, it begins when we don't spend our energy looking on our own things, but paying attention to and with love, benevolence, and compassion, considering the things of others. This will require our intentional commission. Understand this, my brothers and sisters, true unity and true community and true togetherness and equality cannot be created nor sustained until we commit to unity. It's not going to happen because of a public policy or a religious demand. It's only going to happen when we look within and choose to find the value and significance in those that are on the other side of the racial, economic, religious, and cultural lines. It happens when those in power refuse to live in opulence while removing the housing opportunities and educational competencies from those that surround them. It's when we realize that the blessed of us still have a responsibility to the rest of us. But more than all of that, it must acknowledge that the ruling class obtained their position by force, not divine right. Let me say this again. It wasn't God that put them there. In some cases, it was their force. And their attempts to dehumanize others has been an act of theological and sociological error. They have to open their eyes to the fact that we all bleed red blood. We all cry salty tears, and we all breathe oxygen. We've all been created in the image of God, and we've all been blessed with the equal opportunity to become the best version of ourselves without having to exist in a culture with the worry of glass ceilings and racially fueled agendas. And it will happen when we as a community make it our business to be committed to the success of each person among us. So how do we do this? What does it look like in real time? A couple of years back in 2017, I was with Pastor Noel Schoonmaker to come together, and our churches hosted the first ever in the history of either First Baptist Church, the first ever Legacy Day. On this day, we canceled our worship services and decided to worship as one First Baptist. So the way we did that, it was very methodical, a very systematic set of steps. And I want to walk those through because I believe that that same model that we use can be used in our broader community if we're going to be serious about community. The first thing is we have to come to the table as equals. We have to realize that we have different positions, but inherently we have the same power. That we're both made in the image of God. All groups at the table are made in the image of God. The second thing is we have to make space to hear each other's voices. After Pastor Noel and I had breakfast at Cracker Barrel, which we did pretty regularly, you can see the trend. I go to Cracker Barrel, amen, pretty regularly. But we decided to do something that was unique. We decided to do a pulpit swap. And he came and preached at our location, and I went and preached at their location, and we made space to at least hear one another's voices. And if we're really going to be serious about unity, it's going to require that we make the space in our hearts, our minds, and our ears to hear one another's voices. The third thing we did was we decided that if we're going to do a service together, we can't host it at First Baptist on Main Street or First Baptist on East Castle Street. We decided to rent out the Embassy Suites. And we created a single location that didn't have either church's names on it. So in other words, we were sitting in a neutral place. We sat as equals. And so what that means is that as a community, we have to choose to come together in a space that doesn't put one group above the other, doesn't highlight one ethnicity against the other, but we come sitting in an equal place. The fourth thing was this. The true power of the moment didn't happen because we came together. There was a moment in the worship service where we got ready to pray, and we said, grab that person next to you by the hand. And there was a wrestling in the room. Because for some, they had never held the hand of a person that didn't look like them. They'd never been together as one in a worship space that did not reflect their backgrounds. And so there was a tension and a wrestling within each heart to say, do I touch this hand? And if I touch this hand, what does that say about me? And in that moment, the people began to hold hands. And before you knew it, race went out of the window. Economic backgrounds went out of the window. And we stood before God, a God that isn't a white God, nor a black God, nor a Republican God, nor a Democratic God. And in the presence of a transcendent truth, we were able to relieve ourselves of the hindering facts. And I think one of the greatest issues we have is we're trying to worship the wrong gods. When we are willing to let our gods go so that we can stand equally before the true and living God, then we begin to realize we were all made in the image of one God. And then after that, we preached. but we both preached one sermon. He picked a part, I picked a part. He would go, I would go. We went back and forth because we realized that the one thing that has to happen in a space where hearts have been opened to unity is you have to now hear a fresh prophetic call to come unity. So I would encourage you that as you're making these spaces, as you're creating spaces in the community, in the workplace, in the classroom, to foster a new sense of togetherness and equity and equality, that you open your ears to hear how God would have you move forward. And so, as I mentioned at the outset, I heard for years the song, "We Shall Overcome." And it was a song that reminded me that we're not there yet. But in that setting, in that context, we sang another song. And it was a song that's sang by people that walk in the hope of Christ, in which there is no black, no white, no rich, no poor. There's only equal footing before the cross. It was this song. We are often tossed and driven on the restless seas of time. Somber skies and howling tempests all succeed the bright sunshine, but in that land of perfect day, when the mist has rolled away, we'll understand it better by and by. For those that don't know it, the chorus goes like this: by when the morning comes, when all the saints of God, the black ones and the white ones, all the saints of God, those with economic disparities, all the saints of God, those in the suburbs and the projects, all the saints of God are gathered together at home. In that space, we'll tell the story of how we've overcome. We may not understand it in 2020, but we will understand it by and by. Let us commit to come unity. God bless you. Have a great day.
Thank you for that inspiring and uplifting speech. We will now pay homage to our 6 unsung heroes. I would now like to invite Mr. Jimmy Hart and Mr. Matthew Blackwell to introduce our honorees as part of the award presentation.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome again to MTSU for this year's Unity Luncheon. We trust you've enjoyed the ceremony so far, and we'd like to give another huge thank you to Pastor McCarroll for making himself available. Please give him another hand for his inspiring remarks. Since its inception, the Unity Luncheon has recognized 121 individuals in our community, some of whom are here today. So if you are a previous honoree, will you please stand and be recognized, and let's give them and all of our previous honorees a round of applause. As noted before, this year brings us another outstanding group of honorees, and we are grateful to be able to recognize them today. So let us begin.
All right, good afternoon. I have the distinguished honor to present and honor our first honoree, which is in the contribution to Black arts. Dr. Phyllis D. Adams has more than 4 decades of experience as a professional communicator and educator, and holds the rank of full professor of speech and theater at Marlow State Community College, and served recently as curriculum chair of humanities. She holds a bachelor's and master's degree in speech communications and theater from Tennessee State University, and obtained her doctorate in education administration from Vanderbilt University in 2001. In 2010 and 2019, Adams was nominated by Marlow for Faculty of the Year, and she was recently awarded a 2018-19 Student Engagement, Retention, and Success Grant from the Tennessee Board of Regents, which supported 2 classes, Understanding and Diversity, and Embracing Culture and Diversity, Celebrating, Respecting, and Including. Adams gives her students the opportunity to experience theater and public speaking at its best in her classroom, but she also supports their travel outside the classroom to New York City to experience Broadway, network with actors there, and attend master classes in theaters and the arts. To witness numerous professional stage performances. Students have attended Broadway performances of such award-winning actors as Denzel Washington, Chris Evans, Kerry Washington, and Chaz Parliamentary, just to name a few. Dr. Adams is a Phi Kappa Phi distinguished alumni and received the 2008 June Anderson Award for outstanding contributions promoting equality for women in higher education. The MTSU Black History Month Committee is pleased to present the 2020 Unsung Award for contribution to Black arts to Phyllis D. Adams. Please come forward to accept your award. Please give her another hand.
Our next category is excellence in sports. Anyone here who was fortunate enough to attend the True Blue Pioneers panel a few weeks ago, you have a pretty good idea of how close these two next honorees remain so many years after their days on the gridiron. Mr. Ray Bonner and Mr. Ed Miller were two members of the MTSU football Mod Squad defensive backfield, and as recently honored as True Blue Pioneers by MTSU Athletics, were among the first African American student athletes to attend the Blue Raider campus. And of course, we here at MTSU are thrilled to have Coach Bonner right here on campus daily as an assistant coach for our outstanding track and field squad for the past several years. As noted in your program, this marks the 50th anniversary of football integration at MTSU, when Bonner and Miller, two all-mid-state Franklin County High School football players, became the first Black athletes to sign Ohio Valley Conference scholarships by legendary head coach Charles Bubba Murphy in 1969. Both players were leaders in Franklin County athletics in varsity football and basketball, and as senior teammates, led their football team to the Central Tennessee Conference Championship for the second straight year, as well as a berth in the highly acclaimed Tobacco Bowl. Once at MTSU, they formed an outstanding defensive backfield with two other teammates, the late Ken Coffey and Ray Oldham, that caught the attention of Blue Raider fans for their aggressive play. Coach Bill Peck dubbed them the Mod Squad at a weekly press luncheon after the popular show, and the name stuck for 50 years. The Mod Squad recorded an incredible 33 interceptions during a stretch from 1970 to 1972, and the dynamic foursome reunited for the final time in the summer of 2008. Among their many accolades, Miller made All-OVC first team as a sophomore, while Bonner made All-OVC as a senior, was an NFL draftee, and is a Blue Raider Hall of Fame inductee. And considering the recent success of former Blue Raider defensive backs Kevin Byard of the Tennessee Titans and Charvarius Ward of the Super Bowl champion Chiefs, I'd say the Mod Squad set a template for greatness way back when. The MTSU Black History Month Committee is pleased to present the 2020 Unsung Award for Excellence in Sports to Mr. Ray Bonner and Mr. Ed Miller of the famed MTSU Mod Squad. Will you please come forward to accept your award?
Please give them another hand. The next category is Advocate for Civility. Mr. Marcus S. Lucas Sr. retired in 2017 from Yellow Roadway Corporation after 35 years of exemplary service, including as Terminal Manager, Account Executive, and Southeast Division Human Resource Manager. During his professional career, the terminals he managed received top productivity, leadership, and quality awards, while he personally received outstanding sales awards each of the 3 years he worked as an account executive. For the last 13 years at Yellow Roadway, his primary emphasis was on promoting and maintaining employee relations by providing prompt responses to employee complaints, insurance compliance with federal and state employment laws and company policies, and promoting respect in the workplace through observation, feedback, and training. His wealth of HR experience at YRC enabled Mr. Lucas to be an asset to Bethel Missionary Baptist Church in his role as deacon, as a building project committee member, and most recently as facilitator of the pastoral search process. Lucas also is a superb Sunday school teacher and has a heart for missions at home and abroad. He has done volunteer work with the American Red Cross, and in 2008 participated in a life-changing mission trip to Ghana with the National Baptist Convention of America. His organizational affiliations include the Phi Gamma Gamma chapter of Omega Psi Phi, NAACP, Smith Fork District Brotherhood and Sunday School Department, in the Tennessee State University Murfreesboro Rutherford County Alumni Chapter. The Greenville, Alabama native earned his biology degree from TSU and later pursued graduate studies in human resources offered through St. Leo University. Lucas's experience as a respected mediator is recognized and utilized by family members and friends. The MTSU Black History Month Committee is pleased to present the 2020 Unsung Award for Advocate for Civility to Mr. Marvin Lucas Sr. Please come forward to accept your award.
Please give him another hand. Our next category is community service, and this is a fun one for me. Mrs. Robbie A. Bailey Snapp has worked at Middle Tennessee State University for almost 4 decades and currently serves as an assistant director of financial aid. And for those of us on the Black History Month Committee, she can always be counted on for sound advice and offer to lend a helping hand wherever she's needed, and always with a smile. Ms. Robbie loves helping people, especially the elderly, children with special needs, college students away from family and home, and with the outreach ministry at her home, at her church, New Hope Church of God in Christ. She currently serves on the Homeowner Selection Committee for Habitat for Humanity of Rutherford County. In addition, she has been involved with Community Helpers, United Way of Rutherford and Cannon Counties, and the Ann Campbell Early Learning Center right here on the MTSU campus. Ms. Robbie has been an advisor for several MTSU organizations, and as I mentioned, the Black History Month Committee, and she has mentored many MTSU students. She holds an EDS in Education, an MED in Curriculum and Institutional Educational Leadership, and a bachelor's in University Studies. Her favorite scripture is Psalms 34, and her life's motto is, "If I can help somebody along the way, then my living will not be in vain." The MTSU Black History Month Committee is pleased to present the 2020 Unsung Award for Community Service to one of our own, Mrs. Robbie Bailey Snapp. Please come forward to accept your award.
Please give her another round of applause. The final category is for education, and this year's award will be given posthumously. When Ms. Leonora Bo Washington passed away this past October, she had already begun her 47th year of teaching in the local school system, and in each of those years in first grade and at the same school, Smyrna Primary. Known as Miss Bo to family, friends, peers, colleagues, students, and the general public, she was born to, you guessed it, two educators. Her father, A.D. Washington, was a principal and taught at the segregated Rosenwald School, and her mother, Queen Washington, was also a longtime teacher. Altogether, those three family members taught for nearly 110 years. Ms. Bo was extremely active in her community, graduating from all-black Holloway High School as both Miss Holloway and class salutatorian in 1963. She then enrolled at Fisk University, but later transferred right here to MTSU as one of the first black transfer students, earning both her bachelor's and master's degrees. Later, Ms. Bo played a pivotal leadership role in the effort that produced the Hilltop Rosenwald Park in Smyrna. The park's main road is named in her honor of her father. On her Rutherford County Schools website profile, she wrote, "Welcome to the home of the cool cats. I am dedicated to making a difference in your child's education. If we communicate regularly and support your child, much progress will be made. I look forward to helping students reach their potential and working beyond expectations." It's been estimated that she taught and benefited over 1,000 cool cats in her career. The MTSU Black History Month Committee is pleased to present the 2020 Unsung Award for Education to the late Leonora Ms. Bo Washington. Accepting the award on her behalf is her cousin Valerie Whitlow. Please come forward to accept this award.
Please give her and all of today's honorees another round of applause. At this time, I will ask Daniel Green to come back to the stage. Thank you.
Let's give our honorees another hand, everybody. Could we get all of our honorees to step over to the side here for a group photo as we close the event? All of our honorees, could you please step over to the backdrop for a group photo? I have a few thank yous that I would like to share this afternoon. First off, obviously, special thanks to all of our honorees. Special thanks to Dr. Sidney McPhee and Mrs. McPhee, all of our attendees here. All of our program participants, our host, also the African American History Month Committee. Also, I would like to thank Ashurion, and a tremendous thank you to Reverend James McCarroll. I really appreciate you stepping in, and phenomenal speech. Thank you so much. Also, thank you to Lamont Lockridge, Richard Kershaw, Delaney McDonald, Mahalat Akili, Jimmy Hart, Matthew Blackwell, Megan Berry, Tony Strode, Chris and Danielle Rochelle, Sadea Smith, and Chelsea and Virginia, and all of our other members who assisted with the coordination of the Unity Luncheon as well. We also would like to thank our musical performers, Ashley Kimbrough and her ensemble. Let's give them a hand as well. Special thanks to the Center for Student Involvement and Leadership, Intercultural and Diversity Affairs, Creative Marketing Solutions, Student Union Facilities for this beautiful decor and organizing everything. And Airmark, thank you all again. We have quite a few more remaining events for African American History Month, so I encourage you all to come out and attend those remaining events. Thank you again and have a great afternoon.